Hey, good Shabbos, everyone. It is July 5th today. The parasha of the week is Korah. There's this line, has a melody to it from the Psalms that says, Ki chizak b'richei sha'arayich berach banayich bekirbech. Ki chizak b'richei sha'arayich berach banayich bekirbech. So it means that God has strengthened the bolts of your gates or the bars of your gates and blessed your children within you. So it's this image of safety and security. This week's parasha has a specific mitzvah in it about how the Levites are to guard the temple. So in the Torah, it says, "You and your sons and your father's house with you," i.e., the Kohanim, "you shall bear the guilt of the sanctuary, and you and your sons with you. You shall bear the guilt of your priesthood, and your brothers too, the rest of the tribe of Levi." The Kohanim, the priests, are sort of a family clan within the tribe of Levi. Um, within your brothers too, within the tribe of Levi, your father's tribe, bring forward with you, and they will be levied with you and serve you, while you and your sons with you are to be before the ark of the covenant. So while the priests are in the innermost sanctuary with the ark of the covenant and the Kodesh Kodashim, the Holy of Holies, the Levites will keep your watch, the watch of all the tent. Only they must not come near the sacred vessels and the altar, so that they do not die, both them and you. And the Levites will be levied with you and keep watch of the tent of meeting for all the work of the tent, and no stranger shall come near them. And you shall keep the watch of the sacred zone. You now the priests, and you the priests shall keep watch of the sacred zone and the watch of the altar, so that there will be no more fury against the Israelites. So from these verses, the Rambam says that the mitzvah very concisely is to keep watch over this house, meaning the Mishkan or the temple, continuously. The Sefer HaChinuch, means the book of education, which is written by a follower of the Rambam in medieval Spain, says of this commandment to guard the temple. He says something interesting, that the priests and the Levites were commanded to guard the temple and to walk around it constantly the whole night, on each and every night. And this guarding is to honor it, to exalt it, and to glorify it, and not from there being any fear of the enemy, God forbid, as it is stated, and they shall guard the guarding of the tent of meeting. So it's not being afraid of enemies from the outside, but rather keeping something under control so that no harm, as the Torah says, no harm will come to the Israelites. What I have already written, the Sefer HaChinuch continues, what I have already written several times is from the root of the commandment, that the glory of the Mishkan or the temple brings awe to the heart of the people. And in our coming there to request supplication and pardon from the Master of all, our hearts will soften to quick repentance. And it is from the glory of the temple to appoint guards for it, like the way of great kings in the world that do such. So the role of the Levites in the Mishkan is largely about creating a sense of honor and respect, a sense of kavod, a sense of yir'ah, a sense of awe. So regarding this dynamic, we remember that first, it's important to remember that whatever we learn about the Mishkan or the temple, we are also learning about our synagogues, because the synagogue is modeled upon the Mishkan and the temple. Similarly, our houses are built on the model of the Mishkan and the temple. Specifically, we say that the house has become the new sanctuary since the temple was destroyed, as our synagogues. And our bodies, our individual persons, are modeled after the Mishkan and the temple. We um, we are walking temples, so to speak. So when we're thinking about, if we're ever analyzing or thinking about or contemplating the role of the Levites at the Mishkan, we also are simultaneously thinking about what that means for our synagogues, thinking about what it means for our homes, thinking about that what that means for our bodies. Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, who lived in from 1707 to 1746, wrote a lovely book called Mesilat Yesharim, in which he writes the following. I'll share this with you too, in case you want to read along with me. The general principle of the matter. Holiness consists of one's clinging so much to your God and for any action that you do that you will not separate nor budge from God. Blessed is God, so that the physical things you use will attain greater elevation than that which you diminish in your clinging and level due to your using physical things. So we recognize that we have to use um, physicality in our tradition is essential. It's vitally essential. What is it essential for? It is essential for creating a vessel, for a place for holiness to dwell, a place for our spirits, our souls to thrive. And this is really the point of the material world, according to our tradition. It is, God forbid, not about, we are sort of opposed to and every spiritual tradition I know of has this concern for materialism. Materialism is when we lose track of the actual import and need for material things and for material beauty, which is to feed and sustain the soul, not only within us, but within others. We need those material things so that the soul can thrive. So the Mesilat Yesharim continues. He says, I already mentioned that you are unable to do this on your own. You can only rouse in yourself the matter and strive towards it. And this is after you have already done all this other work to develop your traits, your midot, from the beginning of what he calls watchfulness until what he calls the fear of sin. Only with this approach will you succeed to approach the holy and because if he continues, if you lack the previous traits, these previous character traits that you've been developing, you will be like an outsider or a blemished Cohen, of which it is said an outsider, a non-Cohen shall not come near. So when you are guarding yourself against materialism, you are like a Levite guarding the sacred precincts, guarding that which is inside, which is inside. It's not that you're on the outside, but what you're doing is protecting the inside. Um, and not so much from invaders, but you're holding a kind of kavod. You're holding a kind of respect. So you, as supporters of a Jewish community, of a synagogue community, you are supporting that which goes on within the building. You are protecting that which goes on in the building. You are protecting the honor of our ancestors and the tradition and the human beings that now use our sanctuary, our building to be in Jewish community. So the Mesilat Yesharim continues. If after you have prepared yourself with all these preparations, you persistently cling with powerful love and intense awe in pondering God's greatness and infinite exaltedness, you will separate yourself from physical matters little by little and will direct your heart in all your actions and movements to the true inner clinging until a spirit from on high will pour forth upon you, and the Creator will cause God's name, their name, to be upon you, as God does with all holy ones. And then you will be like an angel in all of your actions. Even the lowly and physical ones will be like the temple sacrifices and services. So in this mindset, when you eat with the intention of having that material physical act be about allowing your soul to delight, allowing your soul to bond with other people, allowing your soul to bond with God, allowing your soul to give what you are doing physically to give joy to God, then you are holding the integrity of that which is within. Again, it's not so much about fear of things coming from the outside to to corrupt your inside, but much more about having the proper honor for what is inside, for having the proper kavod, the proper respect for what is inside. So again, if you are analyzing anything in our tradition about the Mishkan or about the temple, you are simultaneously thinking about your synagogues, you are thinking about your homes, and you are thinking about your individual bodies, and by extension, the bodies of other people, the homes of other people, the synagogues of other people. When we enter the synagogue, there's a prayer that we say that says, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov umishkanotecha Yisrael. How lovely are your tents, O Yaakov, and how lovely are your sanctuaries, O Israel. So that word sanctuaries, mishkanotecha, comes from that word mishkan, comes from that place, the dwelling, the sacred dwelling, which we call that the tabernacle from the Torah. So it comes from that same word. It means a dwelling place. In this case, we're talking about the dwelling place of God, because as the Torah says, the whole point of Judaism is asuli mikdash v'shachanti betocham. If you build me a sacred place, I will dwell amongst you. If you make your body a sacred place, God will dwell amongst you. If you make your home a sacred place, God will dwell in your home. If you make your synagogue a sacred place, God will dwell among you. So, and that has to do with the intention of the devotion of honoring that which is inside. So, want to wish you all a good Shabbos. I'm gonna close this by playing you a song, a famous song called Bilvavi Mishkan Evne. In my heart, I will build the Mishkan.
Mishkan